Carl Gustav Jung was not merely a psychologist. He was an explorer of the human soul. Unlike his contemporaries, who mapped behavior in charts and diagnoses, Jung dug into the abyss beneath our polished faces. He discovered that within the labyrinth of the unconscious lie signs of a rare kind of person, so rare, he believed they make up less than 5% of humanity. These individuals are not eccentric by accident. They are not difficult because of some defect. They carry what Jung called differentiated consciousness, a level of development that feels almost alien in a world built for conformity. Think of it this way. Most people live as if inside a theater, watching shadows on the wall, mistaking them for reality. But the rare soul has glimpsed the machinery behind the curtain. Once you see it, you can never unsee it. That difference sets you apart. And society doesn't forgive difference easily. If you've ever been told you are too sensitive, too intense, too complicated, too much, what if those criticisms are not proof of brokenness, but signs that you are walking the rare path of individuation? Because Jung noticed something no one else dared say. The traits that make you feel alien are not flaws. They are the first buds of a consciousness that humanity itself has barely begun to grow into. The truth is unsettling. Your very strangeness may be evidence that you are ahead of your time. Let us walk through these 8 signs, not as curiosities, but as mirrors of the next step in human consciousness. 1. Sacred authenticity, the refusal to wear the mask. From childhood, you were told to tone yourself down. Smile politely, even when you did not feel joy. Swallow your truth when it threatened harmony. Pretend to belong because pretending made life smoother. But you could not keep the mask on for long. Others glide through social rituals with practiced laughter and polite half-truths. You stumble where they dance, unable to betray your inner compass. You excuse yourself from gatherings when your spirit feels suffocated. You lose opportunities because you cannot sell a false version of yourself. And yet, this is not weakness. It is the sacred refusal to betray the self. Your path is harder, yes, but it is honest. In a world addicted to appearances, authenticity is rebellion. And rebellion, when rooted in truth, is a form of higher courage. 2. Outsider vision, the pain of not belonging. The individuated soul rarely feels at home. While others find comfort in blending into the crowd, you often feel as if you are standing on the edge of society, watching it with both awe and alienation. At dinner tables, you notice you speak a different language, metaphors too heavy for casual talk, truths too sharp for polite ears. At work, you feel like a foreigner among colleagues who thrive on office politics and shallow victories. Even among friends, you sometimes stand silent, observing from a distance. This exile is not failure, it is initiation. To individuate, Jung wrote, is to separate from the collective. The crowd demands sameness, but the self demands sovereignty. What feels like loneliness is often the necessary solitude of transformation. 3. Shadow sensitivity, seeing what others deny. Most people avoid the uncomfortable. They refuse to look at hypocrisy, at contradictions, at the shadow in their own reflection, but you cannot help seeing it. You notice the tension behind a friend's forced smile. You sense the insecurity hidden in arrogance. You perceive dishonesty in words spoken with charm. Where others enjoy the surface, you feel the undercurrent. This vision is both gift and burden. To see shadow is to live in sharper awareness. It isolates you, because most prefer their illusions. But as Jung wrote, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. You are among the few who cannot look away. 4. Inner hauntings. The uninvited depth of dreams and symbols. Your nights are not silent. They arrive filled with symbols, archetypes, and visions that linger long after waking. Dreams that feel less like imagination and more like encrypted messages. Your days are not simple. You notice synchronicities, patterns that others dismiss as coincidence. You pause when numbers repeat, when strangers speak the exact words your heart needed, when events align with impossible precision. Most move quickly past such experiences, but you are haunted by them, compelled to interpret, to understand, to follow the threads back into the unconscious. This is the river Jung described, the underground flow of psyche that rarely erupts in daily life. For you, it is always rising, whispering truths in symbols and signs. 5. Sensitivity as strength, feeling what others numb you have been told you feel too much, that you are fragile, overly emotional, thin-skinned, but beneath this insult lies the truth. Sensitivity is not weakness, it is perception. You feel pain more deeply, yes. A passing insult can echo for days. A tragedy on the news can move you to tears others find excessive, but equally, beauty pierces you more profoundly. A sunset lingers in your chest. A piece of music rearranges your entire mood. Society trains people to numb themselves, to become efficient machines. But numbness is not strength, it is absence. Sensitivity means you are alive, tuned to the subtle textures of experience. What others call fragility is, in fact, awareness, and awareness is the raw material of wisdom. 6. Wholeness over perfection. Reconciling contradictions. Most strive to be flawless, the perfect parent, the perfect worker, the perfect citizen. They chase an image, but you know perfection is hollow. Instead, you pursue wholeness, the courage to embrace contradictions within yourself, to admit your light and your dark, your wisdom and your folly, your peace and your rage. You do not seek to eliminate flaws, but to integrate them. This is the deeper work of individuation, not polishing the mask, but reconciling the fragments of the soul. Jung wrote, "I would rather be whole than good." And you understand why. A whole person is alive, real, and human. A perfect person is only a performance. 7. The solitude paradox. Lonely yet rooted. You struggle with loneliness. Crowds exhaust you, and sometimes you wish you could melt into the ease of belonging. But solitude, though painful, also feels like home. In quiet moments, away from noise, something within you begins to breathe. Ideas emerge, reflections deepen, clarity sharpens. Where others dread silence, you find in it the ground of yourself. This paradox defines the individuated. They are often alone, but rarely empty. Solitude, Jung taught, is not the absence of connection, but the soil in which true individuality grows. 8. Mirror to others. The catalyst of transformation. People react strangely to you. Some are drawn in, inexplicably compelled to confide their secrets. Others become defensive, uneasy in your presence, as if you've seen too much of them without a word spoken. This is because you function as a mirror. Having confronted your own shadow, you reflect back to others what they have buried. To stand near you is to feel exposed, sometimes painfully, sometimes liberatingly. It is not an easy role. You may be misunderstood, avoided, even resented. Yet Jung believed that the individuated serve a collective purpose. They become catalysts. By existing authentically, you invite others to awaken. These 8 signs are not easy to live with. They do not guarantee happiness, nor do they promise comfort. but they point to something rare: the slow birth of the self, the next step in human evolution. What society calls too much may be the evidence that you are becoming whole. What others dismiss as dysfunction may be the seed of transformation. The individuated do not follow mass mentality. They walk the harder road, the road of sacred authenticity, outsider vision, shadow truth, inner haunting, deep sensitivity, wholeness, solitude, and catalytic presence. And though the road is narrow, it is the path upon which human consciousness grows,